Welcome back to the Castle TV show. Today we are doing a review on Godzilla vs Kong.
Kong did the same. It's Godzilla.
Now this movie first starts off, kind of see Kong and his environment. So there's this company called Apex. Apex is this corporation, and they're implementing like technology into humans and stuff. And what could go wrong? Skynet taking over, that didn't happen. We all seen Terminator. So Godzilla attacks this facility. And they're like, well, Godzilla doesn't attack unless he's provoked or something like that, So they're like, we need somebody that's going to be able to take on Godzilla. So who do they turn to? So they go into this scene, and it's pretty much them, with this lady who can communicate a little bit. She doesn't really talk to him, to Kong, but she's the one that's pretty much the caregiver, I guess, or zookeeper. She's Kevin James in this movie, and she pretty much takes care of Kong. So the guys from Apex and the corporation are like, oh hey, we need this and something's happening, and then it turns out that they actually need to get some energy. So they have to use Kong to find the energy to defeat Godzilla, because they're thinking, oh, Godzilla is going to kill us all. And if you've seen what he did, Apex, you'd be like, okay, yeah, he kind of is. So that's how the movie starts off. Going a little bit, there's these, they're on a ship, they have Kong there, and Godzilla attacks. Pretty much King Kong, they're like, well, King Kong, did pretty good during that battle or whatever, those two fighting. And, we'll get into that a little bit more, all right? We'll get into that a little bit more. Let me just finish the storyline, and then we'll go into the review. So, they get him on the boat, whatever. Godzilla attacks. He pretty much, something happens where they can't use the boats anymore. And I'm not going to spoil it too much for y'all. So they got him on these airplanes, and they bring him to what they call his home. So there is this lady there that's really working for the Apex person, and she's kind of like skeptical and stuff, and she's pretty much just like, why don't we just get rid of him and stuff? He's causing too much trouble. But then he's the one that's actually leading them to the energy source, which is actually at his home, Kong's home. So they do finally get inside there, and then they find Kong's like throne, I guess, and he has like this kind of weapon. It's like a battle axe. And the battle axe can be energized with energy, and then when he's sitting there, whatever, he puts the little axe inside the ground, and then it shows the energy source. The Apex lady grabs the energy source and then gives it to her dad, who's actually one of the, like, I guess he's like the CEO, or he's the guy working there. Now, the rest of the storyline is kind of more of a spoiler, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to tell you a little bit at the end. Godzilla and Kong do fight at the end, and it's just like, it's up close, and everything's very, very, very scenic. The movie pretty much ends of them two fighting. Now, there is a surprise at the end, which would be considered a spoiler, but I'm not going to tell it to you because you're not ready for it. No, I can't tell you because it will spoil it, and you're not going to expect it, and it's actually a really good ending. That's the storyline, okay? Kong has to go find the energy to defeat Godzilla. Godzilla and him fight in multiple scenes on a boat in Hong Kong. They're fighting a lot, okay? Now, that is a storyline that I can tell you without spoiling the movie. Now, let's get a little bit more into the review. This movie was so beautiful to watch. So many beautiful different sceneries, the ocean, the special effects, the Antarctic, the even Florida, and they have like this little jungle area. And then they go to another scene. I don't know where the location was, but it was like another jungle place. And there's this place that Kong goes to, and they have all like these little floating lights and stuff, and they have like these ships that can hover, and all the colors are so vibrant. This movie is so beautiful to watch. Very, 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 very pretty. I'd actually go and encourage you to go watch it on IMAX, IMAX theater. That's how beautiful it is. The sound, very, very, very great sound effects. Everything matches very well. It's not overly too loud or too abrasive. Everything fits very, very well. So I would just even if you don't even care about the storyline, if you're just gonna go watch a movie, you want to go watch a beautiful movie, this movie is so beautiful with all the colors and the lights and the ocean and the way that they're just the way they did everything, the hair and the fur on Kong, just amazing. The close-ups are very, very impressive, and then just when you see Kong there just standing, this big gorilla, and you see all his hair and the wind blowing his hair, it's just incredible. It's definitely an experience. So that part, just alone, I think the scenic alone is worth watching. The storyline, it could have been a little bit better, but it had a really, really good, surprising ending. It kind of did drag on a little bit, but I think they were just trying to show off the different scenics and trying to show off Kong. So they did a really good job doing that. And maybe that's why it felt a little bit dragged on. I don't know. I did like the movie. I'm not saying that. But there were just some parts which I felt like they could have cut it down just a little bit, but they didn't. It's whatever. Good movie. I'd watch it again. I'd probably watch it, I don't know, probably every time it comes on. I'm probably like, oh, look, hey, King Kong vs. Godzilla. It's a pretty decent movie. Now, there's only a couple bad things that I could say about the movie, other than the storyline. It could have been a little bit better, and it ran on just a little bit long. Just some of the scenes, they could have just shortened them up. It's really not a big thing. Now, here is the problem that I had with the movie. Number one, the characters, they kind of just are there. They don't really have a lot of purpose. I mean, some of them do, obviously, some of the leads, but there was this one scene where they have these kids here, and it's just like, couldn't they just had someone to, it was very, very, very minor, their role of why they were there. Like some like extra could have walked by and did what their whole point of being in the movie was about. That's just my opinion, but really they didn't add anything really to the story, except there was some funny parts. I mean, I will say that they did add a little bit of comedy. The other people weren't as funny as what was going on with these characters. There's two kids, and some guy he used to work at Apex, which is he's hilarious. Um, he actually okay, so that I will say they added comedy, but to their point of adding into like the movie besides the comedy, eh, like eh, I I don't understand. I don't understand why they were there. Another thing, the little girl that they used, she was a great actress. However, her facial expressions, like the same facial expression throughout the whole movie. Like the director's just like, just stand there and make this face. And then throughout the whole movie, her face never changed except for when she was crying, which was like 90% of the movie. Not really, it was probably like 30%. She was a good actress. I think the director just didn't use her acting ability a little bit better. Her facial expression was just god awful. It's the same facial expression for like however long the movie was. I feel like it was like 2 hours, and I was like, all right, come on, you can smile, you could do something with that face. But it was the same facial expression the whole movie. You'll see when you watch it. You'll know. You're like, oh, I see what he's talking about. And the last one was um, Godzilla. They took their time and made Kong look beautiful. Godzilla looked like what's the word? Didn't look very good. I don't know who created Godzilla, but he looked like he got burnt. He looked like a guy got left inside a building and he got set on fire, and he got burnt a little bit, and by some sort of miracle he made it out. Um, but all the texture, it looked so blotchy and put together. And I know Godzilla is a hard character. He's just like big, fat looking alligator kind of character. As the best way with his like little arms up here, maybe like a little Barney character. But I'm just saying, like, they could have done a lot better on the details on him. I think they spent so much time on the scenics in Kong that they really didn't give their all on Godzilla, which they could have. Um, but there was so much in this movie, and there was some main characters besides the people that are inside this movie, which I understand that they had to work on and make, and the plot, and everything. So I kind of understand they might have, not had like all the budgeting there for all the characters that they put in there. And like I said, besides the humans, um, that went into this movie where maybe like they didn't, I don't know, maybe they cut back the budget, or maybe they didn't hire the same person that made Kong. Maybe the person made Kong and then had to go and make Godzilla and fell asleep halfway and his hand just kept going or something. I don't know. I'm just being super hyper critical of Godzilla just because Kong looks so good. If they didn't make Kong look so good, I probably wouldn't be so harsh on Godzilla. But after you see Kong and you look at Godzilla, you're like, what is that? Like a 1983 monster? Like, there are some close-ups where you look at him and you're like, oh, okay, he don't look too bad. But majority of the movie, he just does not look good. So that being said, I don't know. They could have done better. So there's the three things I didn't really like about the movie. Besides like the plot and it being they could have made the scenes a little bit shorter. Everything else, so the movie was so beautiful to watch, and I can't say it enough. And I know I keep going on how beautiful it was. That's because it was. And just the special effects, the water, um, when he destroys something, Kong destroys something. It's just everything just looks so beautiful on the screen when you watch it, and it's just hard to like look away, even if you want to pick up like a drink or eat some popcorn or something. And look down, and you're like, what did I miss? What did I miss? So the movie really keeps your eyes focused on the screen. Um, but yeah, I definitely give this movie probably a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I would give it 10 out of 10. Besides, Godzilla, the storyline, the girl, and the scenes. They could have been a little bit shorter. Otherwise, this movie is fantastic. It's my job to rip apart movies and review them. So I give this movie 9 out of 10. Go and watch this. Go in a theater or go get HBO on your phone and go and watch this movie. You will not be disappointed. And I'll tell you what, too, it had no agendas. No agendas. Nothing about race, nothing about politics, nothing about stuff that was just like, that cringe moment. There were no cringe moments. It was just a movie about Godzilla and Kong. I was going to say King Kong, but it's called Kong. About Kong. This movie is definitely worth watching. You don't have to, I mean, I think there was maybe one swear word, and they do use God's name in vain, which I guess that was kind of like a little bit of a cringe moment for me. I don't like watching movies that use God's name in vain. But I mean, I other than that, I think that was the only like thing I was like, why do they have to use that word, huh? Why couldn't they use something else? Otherwise, the movie's beautiful. Very, very to little to none swearing. The movie's funny. And I had to say, the one thing that I did really like about the movie was it got to the point very, very fast. It wasn't, oh, we gotta go and find King Kong, and that's gonna take an hour of the movie, and then, oh, where's Godzilla? Oh, well, that's gonna take another hour, and by the time 2-3 hours comes, there's like a 10-minute fight between Godzilla and Kong, and you're like, that's it? I sat through this movie this whole time to watch a 15-minute fight? Come on, son, what's going on? So there wasn't none of that. There was a lot of fights, which was good. I mean, it was not like non-stop, but there was a lot of fights, enough to satisfy you. Be like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, there was enough in there. They were good fights. There were a lot of close-ups, so it wasn't just like a lot of boring moments where you're like, oh, okay, this is gonna go on for another 40 minutes of them fighting. They fought, and it was enough. It was the perfect amount of time that they fought. It wasn't just like 30-40 minutes of them fighting or like 2 minutes. Perfect amount of time. And I think to be honest, I think the fights were fair. Saying on the characters, I think what they did was pretty decently fair. However, I wish they would have let one of the other creatures get ahead a little bit more, I don't know. What didn't do? Remake the movie and fix it? No. So the fights were perfect. There were enough of them in there. You're not watching a 2-hour movie and seeing like a 10-minute fight. So there are definitely battles. This isn't going to be a Superman versus Batman movie. It's like, do you bleed? All right, guys, that's the movie. Let's wrap it up. Let's see how much money we can make. We're not going to have Batman and Superman fight except for one scene, and then he's going to hit him with his car and be like, do you bleed? All right. That was worth it, guys. Thanks for all the money that you went and watched the movie. That movie's terrible. So, go watch this movie. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you've already seen it, do not spoil it for others, because this movie is actually worth watching. Out of all those movies that they've been putting out, all that trash, this movie is worth watching. Go and watch it. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and don't forget, only you can pick if you like Kong or Godzilla more. Till then, we'll see you next time.